Hey, this is Avish Parashar from BeFunnyAsASpeaker.com. Now, on Be Funny as a Speaker, our goal is to show you how you can discover, develop, and deliver your natural humor. So you can become a funnier person, makes it that much easier to be a funny speaker. However, there are a few things you can do while you're working towards that to immediately start adding some humor to your programs without necessarily developing great material on your own. So this is not a long-term strategy, but it is a good way of using it like a crutch while you take the time to develop those skills. And then in the future, once you do have the ability to add a lot of your own humor, you can still use these, what I call humor aids, to punch up your material and get even more impact. So here are 3 things you can do right now to add humor immediately. Number 1, start using funny visuals. If you use PowerPoint, which a lot of speakers do, you can put in funny images that make the audience laugh that are not about you being funny. They don't need to even be the crux of the joke. So, for example, if you're going to talk about challenges people face around your topic, put a funny of someone of like a sad animal. Animals always get great responses. So, like a dog that looks really sad. Like, here's a problem, right? If you're going to talk about being overwhelmed by paperwork, there's probably stock images you can find of someone like buried under paperwork. Things like that. Do searches for funny images, and you'll find stuff that will make the audience chuckle or at least feel good. Now, be careful. Don't just grab any image you see off the internet. Make sure you have the rights. You might have to pay for it, or you might have to find something that's under a Creative Commons commercial license. That's between you and a lawyer and the legalese. But you can find those images. Just be careful before you use them that you have permission to do so. So that's number 1. Number 2 is you can use funny quotes. So you don't need to come up with funny material. You can read something funny around your topic. So, for example, years ago, I don't do this anymore, but I used to talk about, one of my points was, and still is, about being playful at work. So I used to read a quote about Southwest Airlines and how their flight attendants sometimes would start with a very humorous security briefing, like when they tell you about buckling your seatbelt and safety regulations. And so I just read this thing. It was about the flight attendant adding a lot of humor to that. It wasn't mine, and I had it on a piece of paper so everyone knew I was reading it, but always got a good laugh. So you can do that. Find funny things and read them like a quote. Now make it clear you're quoting someone else, or you're reading an article or telling a story that's not about you. Don't make it your own thing, but you can find funny stuff easily just by doing a Google search that you can incorporate around your topic. And the third thing you can do is to mine the audience and your event for funny material. So sometimes when I can, I like to get to my events early. If I'm going to be speaking in the afternoon or at lunch, I like to go in early and see what the speakers before me do. So you can, if the speaker before you does something funny, especially if it's a callback or a catchphrase, all you need to do is at some point during your presentation, say the same callback or catchphrase, and it gets a huge laugh. For example, years ago, there was a speaker at NSA, the Speakers Association convention, who did this little funny move like this. He was a humorist, and that became his signature, and he could just do that, and the audience would start laughing. Well, a day or two later, another speaker was giving a presentation, and he said something, and then he just, without really even acknowledging, just did that, and the audience lost it. So he didn't have to explain it, everyone knows. So you can piggyback off stuff other speakers are doing. Now, you have to do it at the same event, in the same audience. It won't work if it's 2 different breakout sessions, and it won't work if it's this conference versus a different conference 2 weeks later. So you're not stealing someone else's material, you're just calling back to it. There are more ways we can explore that later. For right now, start with those 3. The main thing I want you to remember is that I want you to keep developing your own humor. But until that happens, use these 3 techniques as humor aids to start immediately adding humor to your programs, even if you don't yet feel that you're really funny. So, this was Avish Parashar from BeFunnyAsASpeaker.com. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or give me a call. I would love to help you out.